So I am recording the webinar as well, and I'll send out a link to it once it's recorded. We'll chuck it up on YouTube, and we'll send the links out to everyone, just so if you need to share it around the office or with other people, then by all means do that. Okay, so looks like we've got quite a few people coming on, so we'll just kick off. As I said earlier, for those just joining, if you are having any problems hearing me, although you won't be able to hear me give this message, just use the chat box or even email me. I've still got my email open on my other screen, so if there's any issues at all, just shoot me across a quick message. But otherwise, we'll kick off. It looks like the sound's working, it looks like stream's working, so we'll take a punt and we'll get rolling with it. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining. I just thought it was probably about due that we, from Web Ninja point of view, covered off where we're at with Amazon, what we think Amazon's all about, why we think it might be a good opportunity to sell some more of your products through it, just what we've learnt, and how we think we can help. Because ultimately what we want is we want you guys to be able to sell more of your products online, and therefore be a customer of ours for much longer. So we've been doing a huge amount of work building the application so that you can sync your existing accounting software information with Amazon. We think that's a really good opportunity to save time and money and keep things syncing up together. So I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. Also, but just overall, I want to give you sort of our rub of the green in terms of what we think is happening with Amazon, when it's kicking off, what you can do now, what you should be thinking about, and all that sort of stuff. So let's get into it. I've just got a few slides. I haven't actually timed it, but it'll be, you know, somewhere between 15, 20 minutes, give or take, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so why should I sell on Amazon? Why do we think that you should sell on Amazon? If anyone's read the sort of definitive book on Jeff Bezos, who's the founder, CEO of Amazon, it's called The Everything Store. And I think that really sums up his philosophy and what they've tried to build with Amazon since its inception in the 90s. So Amazon's been around for a long, long time. And you can see by my little stat there, they actually have a 43% share of all retail e-commerce sales in the US, which is just quite phenomenal to think 43% of people shopping online in the retail space in the US are going through Amazon. So it took them a while to decide to come to Australia. They don't do these things lightly. So we're sort of backing the fact that they're here with a pretty strong plan. And if you're reading any newspapers or websites or any sort of media at all, you'll see there's really not a day goes by that they're not in the news, good, bad, or indifferent. Jerry Harvey's got something to say or whatever. They've got a real marketing machine sort of happening, raising awareness, and you'll know about it a little bit already, and that's why you're here. We think Amazon has a reputation for innovation. They have arguably the largest selection of products in any one place in the world. They pride themselves in customer service. They are full on about fast delivery. They're really just an absolute machine over in the US and Europe and Asia and everywhere else where they're situated. They are all about really raising the bar from an e-commerce point of view. And in terms of their marketplace, their platform itself, I believe it is quite easily the most advanced that I've seen and I've used. And funnily enough, I checked this morning. I've been an Amazon.com member for over 10 years now. I started buying books there in 2007, and I haven't actually read all those books yet, but nonetheless, I've been going back a while. I've actually used the site quite regularly over that time, and it really is because they have everything that I'm searching for. If I can't find it in Australia, then I've been going over there and paying an arm and a leg for shipping to get it. I just wanted to give you kind of an example of what I mean by how advanced the marketplace is, just based purely on the number of categories that you'll see. And if we were to dive down into something common like appliances and just see some of the category selection and things like that, just as an example, say I wanted to I want to buy pink appliances. I only want to see pink appliances. I can actually obviously refine by color, and you'll see the selection is just ridiculous. In terms of pink, there's 297 pages of pink appliances available. And we can drill down into, specific brands within it. And a lot of you guys will be using similar sort of filters on your website. We can drill down by specific sellers. So you guys as a seller would be listed under here. And if people recognize the name, they can shop only your products. We can look at based on customer reviews. We can look at whether something's on special or not. It really is quite, you can also view if there's free local shipping on a particular product. So it's pretty amazing to see just really that philosophy of the everything store is quite honestly pretty accurate. Their search bar up the top is really awesome too. So if I actually wanted to refine that just via a search and I just did pink blender, straight away I'm going to see a bunch of pink blenders. So if that's what you're into, there's plenty of selections available online. Another thing I just wanted to quickly show you in terms of what I think is quite neat, and the way they tend to push the envelope a little bit, would be, I have to go to amazon.com.au for this, but if you're looking at let's look at a book. That'll do. The new Dan Brown book. They have a buy with one click option here, which is really pretty amazing. There's no checkout. It knows who I am. I'm already logged in. If I literally click that button, I've bought that book. So they really gear this thing up so that the consumer can buy quickly, they can buy easily, they can find what they want. And that's what I sort of mentioned earlier from a marketplace point of view. These guys are pretty far ahead of the game. That's just their market share growing over the years. So you can see it's on the up. And again, they're coming into Australia with I'm sure with a philosophy of doing pretty much the same thing and taking a big chunk of that market share. Therefore, why wouldn't we try and get our products on there as an opportunity? Just a little bit more than that as well. There's a stat that was done, figured out that 44% of online shoppers go directly to Amazon in the US to search now. So they're not even using Google, 44% of people. They're actually going to Amazon to shop, which is quite phenomenal when you think how big a part of our lives using Google is. I won't say Bing because not too many people are using that. But 44% of people in the US now, well, this is 2015, so it might be arguably a little bit higher, are going directly to Amazon. So, if there's some semblance of that carrying over to the Australian market, then again, there's an opportunity to get your products in front of a lot of people. 43%, we've done that one, just reiterating it. And just why people are shopping on Amazon, it's to do with primarily with the product selection. 29% of people are there for the best price, and then 13% because of that speed of delivery. Amazon Prime members in the US can get stuff same day. If you're in the right near one of the fulfillment centers, they're really hardcore on delivering stuff as quick as possible, and they're really going to go head to head with good old Australian Post and maybe show them up a little bit. Just got to chat. One person can't hear me. If it's only one, I'm sorry, I'll have to carry on. But please, if anyone else is having issues at all, just type that into the chat. Hopefully you've joined on the audio. I will send the video link afterwards. You may have left already. Okay, moving right along. Now, what do we know? What do we know about Amazon? We know that they're incredibly secretive. We know that they have been pretty selective in terms of who they're taking on as their early sellers. And we know that the launch is imminent. So they won't tell us when. They're not telling anyone when it's happening, but they sort of hinted that it was going to be last week, and they're sort of hinting that it wasn't. It's now not last week, obviously, that it might be pretty soon, but they're not telling us when or how. They're just leaving it up to the media to speculate and write lots of stories and get lots of free press out of it. We think it's going to be December. If it's not, it'll be January, but it could be very early December. We just don't know where they're at with their testing. I'll talk a little bit about one of our customers who may well be online here. Josh, if you're on here, KL, one of the early sellers that we've worked with to get their products ready, and they have 1,300 listings via our app linked in the seller center now, ready to go. So when Amazon pushes the button, these guys are right up with the play in terms of having their products ready and being sold straight away. I just got a question. If we have not been accepted, if you have not been accepted as an approved seller, let me know. The first thing I would suggest, if you haven't signed up to be a seller, is to Google. Let me just try this. Amazon Australia. Google that, Amazon Australia sign up, and there's a link here, amazon.com.au/gp/au_sell.html. I'm sure most of you have done that, but put that information in straight away. They'll be in contact. If they're not in contact, we have a little bit of luck pushing the case for a few of you. So if you haven't been approached yet, we can try and push that process along as well. So yeah, get approved as soon as you can. What you can do beyond that is start working on your data. Now, I just put a note here that getting started can be an overwhelming experience. So we're going to try and help you guys get organized in terms of the data requirements. The data is, it gets pretty complicated. It can be really, you can extend the extra fields and all sorts of stuff based on the category and to pretty high levels. And just by looking at those filters down the left that we looked at on Amazon.com, that's all data driven. So for you to populate all of those fields in that particular category, obviously it might be a fair bit of data to set up, and that's what our aim is, to help you guys do that. The most important thing you need is you need this UPC, these global sort of barcode numbers that identify the product. So a lot of you that I've spoken to have those already. That is the primary key for listing on Amazon, is they're expecting you to provide that. They'll cross-check it with existing listings overseas to make sure it is the same product, etc. But we need to have those unique product codes. That's absolute step one. So if you haven't got those yet, then you either need to work out how you're going to get them, go to suppliers, or there's an Australian company where you can register them and get them processed. But the data, from a data point of view, obviously it's stock levels. Now Amazon, because of their real heavy push on premium service, they don't want to sell anything. They don't want you selling anything on there that you don't have. So just having your stock levels syncing into Amazon and keeping that up to date is absolutely critical, as is pricing, images, brand names, and then all that extra data for those filters. It depends on the category, but it could be anything from sizes and colors and things like that. The good news is everyone on this list, everyone on this webinar is already a Webninja customer. You guys have worked on a lot of this stuff already. We have a link to your accounting software, and you'll have you either have a retail or a wholesale website of some sort through us, which is fantastic, because we can leverage that data, connect to the same fields, add some more fields. We can add a CSV in, etc. So part of this implementation and this tool that we're putting together is to get that data mapping really locked down and make the listing process much easier once it's all set up. I've already talked about this a little bit. Yeah, so how can we help? We can connect your existing inventory directly to Amazon. You can create listings, update stock levels, update pricing. Or, of course, I haven't mentioned you want to retrieve your orders automatically. So if someone's ordering online, you can bring that in directly from the website into your system, process it, pack it, send it out, etc. So what we think is where we can help, and where we're a little bit different from most other listing products, is that you can tie it in to everything you already know. I won't harp on too much about the integration. Well, I already have, but you guys know what the benefit of that can be. And then we can also start to potentially leverage that existing information as you're working on it for Amazon into other areas. eBay is not going anywhere anytime soon. There's still some potential in selling on there. Google shopping feeds, and some of you might decide that let's have a crack at the Amazon US market if the Aussie one goes well. Work out some of the logistics around there and start listing on Amazon US. So there's some further opportunities to extend this data, and if you're working on these UPCs and getting all that put together, why wouldn't we go and look at some other opportunities there? Now, luckily for me, so I want to give you a little demo of where we're at. We've been putting a lot of time in the last probably 3 or 4 months into building this app. You'll see here, and thanks again, Josh, if you're online. Josh from KL's allowed me to just show them show you guys where they're at in terms of listing, and they're our first customer to really start pumping these listings through our system. We work pretty closely with them. You'll see it just looks like the normal website admin, but we've added an Amazon dashboard. I should mention, setting up with this app, we do it completely separately of your existing shops. We set up a new application so we can customize the sync and do whatever we want without making a mess of the shop. So we set these up completely separately. But what we have in this dashboard is firstly what we'll do is we'll connect to your Amazon seller account once that's ready. That gives you a nice green tick to say that that's working. And what we do is we then set up your connection. So we'll connect to your accounting software in the same way that we do already. So you have a little executable there running. That'll pump products into the system. And then we connect to Amazon and do our mapping and sort of monitor the progress of the syncing, errors, listings, orders, all that sort of stuff in here. So just to give you a really quick rundown of how that would work is we map a lot of your existing accounting software data in. These are the categories that have come out of, in this case, Tensia. But what we would do, and Josh has got all his mapped already, is what we do is when the category comes into our system, we then map it to the relevant category in Amazon, which I won't do because that will make a mess of it. And once that category is linked, every product in that category is linked. So as you're adding more products into the system, it'll attempt to sync them across straight away. So really nice, quick. There wouldn't be an easier way to connect up your categories to the relevant Amazon ones. Second thing we do, and I don't want to go too deep into this, is we also do that on a product level. So we want to know which field on your side is brand and where we link that to Amazon, where your UPC field links to Amazon's UPC field. So when we go into this is a category that we've linked, it then goes up in the top list. I don't want this to this looks a little bit more overwhelming than it is, but you can see there is a pretty long list of possible fields. Now, this is part of Amazon being more advanced than the others. They've got more fields, they do more searching, but the data requirements also can be a bit more intensive. Now, I wouldn't be trying to connect every field to every single field in Amazon. It's up to us to work with you guys to work out what we think the best ones are. And you'll see there's certain fields that are required. So step 1 is to do the required one. Step 2 might be within and these are different per category. I should really make sure that's crystal clear. Step 2 might be to choose which of these type of fields are necessary for your products within that category. Again, once we connect them up, it's done. So every time a new product goes into the system, it knows where to send all the extra data. So we do category mapping first, we then do product mapping, and then you know what? It syncs on its own, like everything in this system. If I drill down into this, you'll see it's basically every hour now is checking the Amazon stuff. It's also got the Tensia sync running, got all green lights. It's in the middle of trying to match Amazon products at the moment, so it's running right now, and that'll just tick away, as well as retrieving the orders. Now, I don't have any orders to show you because we haven't had any orders through Amazon yet, but it will bring those through in a similar sort of way. So this will sync, and then what we have is we have a dashboard that'll tell us the total attempted listings, 1,620. So you can see Josh has been busy here. Out of that 1,620, 1,389 are active, and then we've got a bunch that have got errors. So this is pretty cool, actually. I'll just go into the total listings. That'll show me everything that we've tried to list, and what I can search for is I can say, well, I only want to see individual products with errors. And I'll filter by that, so that's my 200 and whatever it is. And then what we have is we have the error message that comes back from Amazon. So now that'll give us a clue as to what is the problem. Why isn't this being listed? Why isn't it working? We've had some fun trying to decode these errors, and one of our next jobs is to actually put a more of an English version around what this means, because if you have a chance to read through that, it can be a little bit daunting. The fact of the matter is, once we translate into that to something that makes sense, or we help you with that from a support point of view, you go back, you fix that product, fix that field in the accounting software, let it resync, and then that'll be listed and that comes off the list. So Josh has been busy on this as well, and you can see the vast majority of his listings are active, which is great, but there's some more work to do here, and as I say, we need to help with sort of decoding what the errors are. So that's pretty much it. We've got a nice simple dashboard to follow. We'll help you with the category mapping and the setup stuff, and then it's really just about, again, assisting with what the errors are, and how many listings you want to achieve, and just working through that. Now, you'll have an access to the Amazon seller account as well, so you can go and log in on the seller side, and you'll be able to view all your existing listings in there as well. So that's just a quick little run through of where we're at with it, and to get nearly 1,400 products through, which are quite complicated products, is a decent achievement, I think. Okay, now what are we going to do? How are we going to kick this off? Well, I wanted to do an offer to you guys. The people on this webinar are the ones that have signed up for more info in the last couple of months. So we wanted to see how many of you would be interested to kick this thing off in December and start getting ready. So if you go to webninja.com.au/Amazon-offer, you will end up here. 1 second. And we decide we'll give you December for free, and you would pay for next year in advance. Now, we've got two main options, so make sure you scroll down. We're going to do a basic sync option. Now, the basic sync means some of you may be already underway with your seller accounts. You may have already created some listings in Amazon. They've got a sort of an import-export tool for that. That's absolutely fine. We could just connect up the inventory and pricing and sync the orders back and keep things really simple, if you're happy to use the Amazon interface to manage things. So if you want to keep that sync nice and simple, and I think I mentioned it, and it'll bring the orders back as well, of course. And that'll be up to 1,000 listings and orders per month. I should say this number may change. We just don't know what sort of impact heavy syncing is going to have on our servers and also our support. So 1,000 listings should cover many of you as well. Normally that monthly is going to be $125 a month. If you sign up in December, it's $95. You do pay annually advance. As I say, we'll give you December for free as well, but we're going to do a deal on the install, which is usually 10 hours at $14.50 set up. We're going to drop that right back to $580 to set that up with you, make sure it's up and running and syncing. The second option is the full sync. That is basically creating the listings, mapping the categories, managing all those fields, managing the listing statuses, having the error reports, everything that I've just shown you. Again, up to 1,000 listings or orders, give or take, per month. I think there's probably a little bit of room to move on that at this stage. The KL guys will be staying on this price plan. We're going to drop that monthly fee down from $250 down to $195 per month, and the install fee is down significantly. I should mention, and it's in the little T's and C's down the bottom, if you're a color, size, style customer, you have apparel, things that come in different sizes, different colors, different whatevers, there will be some additional charges for that. It's really complicated to get these things called variation themes up and running. However, we can do it, and we have done it. It takes a little bit of, quite a bit of playing around with to get it up and running and get it working. Okay, and then we have a super user. We don't know what that is, but we think that is, if you're looking at listing 5,000 products, 5,000 orders per month, or more or less, again, we just don't know what sort of impact that might have on our system support setup time. So we think hopefully you guys will be either the basic or the full sync initially. If you wanted to start out on this one and then upgrade to that, that would be absolutely fine. And as I said before, we're giving away December for free, so the sooner you sign up, the better. 1st of January, those prices go up to full freight. And all I would get you to do, if you've got that page copied down, is just drop your information in here. I'll give you a call straight away, and we can work out what plan you want to go on, what the setup time's like, what your data's looking like at the moment, and I can even recommend maybe you know, which package might suit best for you as well. So that link, if you missed it at the start, was Amazon-offer, and that'll redirect you over to this page. Okay, and that's it for now, guys. Thanks for attending. It's a shade under half an hour, so I didn't talk too much rubbish. I will send the video of this out to you. If you have any questions whatsoever, just send me an email or give me a call, dan@webninja.com.au. Just give us a call on the office line and fill out the form there if you want to get started straight away. And we're really keen to help you guys make the most of this opportunity. So thanks again, and hope to hear from you soon.